I'm trying to figure out why people who have a voice and their ears to the street of the community, they have a platform. Why are they calling for a boycott to the for us to not support or watch the Olympics because of Sha'Carri Richardson? And we all know the facts now. Look, when this first happened, you know, for one, I wasn't too surprised. I was more disappointed because I just made a video saying, look, she needs to be careful because she almost stepped in the lane of somebody else at the trials and they'll DQ you for that. But she's very brash. She's very, attitudinal, and we like it. We want you to talk stuff to Shelly Ann Fraser Price. We want we want you to talk stuff to Shelly Ann Fraser Price. We want you to say something to Blessing El Kabari. We want you to get the tweets popping like America on deck. We want that. But we also want you to be able to run. We want you not to do something to mess up your chance to prove yourself. And, when it all was said and done, that's what she did. Sha'Carri DQ'd herself. Now, we know she was going through something. I don't know if she smoked weed, and that she's always been smoking weed, even during her regular competitions. I don't know. What we do know is Sha'Carri is not new to the game. We know Sha'Carri was, she was in, the big colleges running. Even they got rules. Listen, Sha'Carri probably was aiming for the Olympics when she was in the 8th grade. I mean, she was already looking at the Olympics. And for somebody with speed like hers, she's one of the fastest kids ever in high school. So she was one of the fastest kids in middle school. This is in the entire world. This is not just in the country. Okay, there was very few people beating her. I mean, you got like Shamari Davis came out and beat her, and she pulled out of the Olympic trials, which was disappointing. But you had a couple people beat Sha'Carri, but she's up there with the top 20 fastest sprinters in the world, in middle school. So she was already eyeballing the Olympics. It's like, okay, this is where you're headed. Then she, pretty much wins her competitions in college and then goes pro immediately. You go pro, you're getting paid to do this now. You have sponsorships. You have people who are counting on you. And you know the rules. They give you the rules. They tell you the rules, what you can and cannot do. And we know losing your family member is very disappointing and disheartening. But Sha'Carri knew, don't do this. This is what you cannot do. I mean, they canceled Shanahan for eating a burrito with something in it. You knew better, Sha'Carri. And then you come out and say, I'm human like you. No, you're not. You're not like us. You just run a little faster. No. You're not like us. Because I will never have and never did have the speed to run and get into the Olympics, let alone be considered a winner. I'm not like you. The majority of people on the planet are not like you. You have the gift of speed, and it is a beautiful thing to see. So we're not like you. You cannot even use that as an excuse. And your coaches should have, look, I don't know what they should have done. I think one of your coaches is Nehemiah or something, Ronaldo Nehemiah. Very fast dude. Admired his speed. Played ran track and played if I'm correct, and he played football, professional football. So I just don't know where the system failed you. I don't think it did. I just think, I just think it's just one of those things you're gonna have to learn from. I think she pretty much did what she wanted to do and thinking it wasn't gonna catch up with her. I'm just gonna do what I want to do because the world's watching me, and I'm a shoe in. Well, you weren't a shoe in to win because you had two, three other people who are running times that are close to yours. You have four people. One, two. You have three people that are two people who are running in the 10, 6 somethings. Blessing Okabari and Shelly Ann Fraser Price. And then you have another girl out of Jamaica, Sharika, I forget what her name is, and she has blazing speed. Then you have uh, Elaine Thompson, who's in top form. She's running 10 sevens now. It ain't gonna take much for her to dip into 10 6s. So listen, it's a whole race. Okay, you weren't a shoe in to win, and I had you coming in third. So I'm not boycotting a damn thing because the Olympics are still going to be worth watching, even though we don't get to see our girl in it. And what's really disappointing is we probably will never get to see Sha'Carri Richardson run against Shelly Ann Fraser Price. That is the real disappointment here. The match, the showdown that we wanted, that we would pay for, we will never get to see. Because Shelly Ann Fraser Price is 34 years old, and she is already past her prime. It's a good chance that Shelly Ann Fraser Price is not going to be running in the 10 6s in the next 4 years. It just probably is not going to happen. So, yeah, I'm not boycotting the Olympics. I don't suggest anybody else boycott the Olympics. People are trying to bring up race and trying to say that Sha'Carri, the white folks did. Listen, white folks do a lot of racist stuff, but white folks ain't do this. Listen, white folks is kicking white folks out of the Olympics. Not to mention, somebody else bring up a good point. White people have and always will love the physical abilities of black people. They may not like us, and this is just some white folks. They may not like us, but they love what we could do. You can't tell me that I'm wrong. You can't tell me that they didn't love Usain Bolt. They loved Usain Bolt. He was making $21 million a year off of sponsorships, and he did everything he could right. Everything. They loved him. He was a great image for the sport. He still is. He's still getting paid. Let's get this right. If you do it right, even if white people don't love you as a black person, they will still love your ability. So the white folks ain't do this. The white folks ain't hold Sha'Carri Richardson back. Sha'Carri held herself back. All right? So do not boycott the Olympics. And root for Sha'Carri to come back faster. And hopefully she can break FloJo's record. At least in the 100. I don't know about the 200. Because Prandini and Douglas and a bunch of other people, they're just, whew. Gabby, second fastest woman ever. Woo. It's your boy Tongue 202. Peace.